Alright, we got this up. I'm gonna pull this up. Boom. This is the wave right here. Let me move this over here. Alright, let me share my screen. Docs. Oh, damn. Let me see something. Alright, let's get active. Let's get active. Boom, boom, boom. Alright, take that off. Take that off. I'm gonna take a shot. Off the charts, eating better. Okay. I'm always stupid. I'm focused on perfecting my entries with trading. Hey, Teresa said, how y'all doing? I'm blessed, man. I'm grateful, bro. I woke up this morning. Man, that's a blessing. If I had to say what one thing that I'm focused on for me personally is growing a better relationship with the Holy Spirit, getting closer to the Holy Spirit. That's what my main focus is right now. One of my focuses, but that's like one of the things that I'm putting a lot of emphasis on. So when it comes to me and how I'm doing my systems, it's like I even built out a system on how I can grow closer to the Holy Spirit. So that's what I'm on the repetition phase of that. Just can constantly keep on repeating, getting clarity. I have the clarity. I just need to keep on repeating certain things as well. I've observed that, I'm telling you, the Most High changed my life, man. When He gave me 1 John chapter 2 verse 27, and He showed me that and I started, because when I built out this system flow, this was all thanks to the Most High, because I wanted it to be something simple, and I had to put it in a way that I learned the best, because I teach the way that I learn. I'm not going to teach you something in a way that I don't learn it myself. For example, when I teach, you guys see, when I teach, I don't teach with scientific stuff. I don't teach with scientific studies and big words, because that's not how I learn, and I don't know that type of stuff. I'm not a scientist, so I'm not teaching you guys no big words or needing that type of data. I am I learn and I love through parables. I learn through simplicity, through observation, things that actually make me visualize certain things. So that's how I build my systems. That's how I build out the system flow. And I want to show you guys exactly what it looks like when it comes to overcoming hesitation on the charts. But I love that you said that, Teresa. Off the charts, eating better, and then you said perfecting my entries with trading. I love that as well. But let's get started real quick. So I want to go over the charts real quick, and then I'll go to my canvas that I have, and we will start going in depth from there. So remember last week we talked about with gold, about how if gold held as resistance here, it could potentially come down into support, and it did that within that same exact day. It came all the way down to support, then it came back up lower high. Now it is currently in this range right here. It'll look clean on a 1 hour time frame. But if I'm looking at the chart right now, if gold continues to maintain below 50, what is this, 50-50, this is a major area on gold. 50-50, I heavily for a while. This is a key move. Gold keeps making same how I should rather destination going. Gold keeps making low here, and we can get on bus now. Then our destination is here. We're making the trip. I'm gonna like random names. And how I like to do this, for me personally, that makes the journey more enjoyable, because that's every single system that I have. I always make sure I incorporate that aspect of things, enjoying the journey. It doesn't matter what system I'm building when it comes to fitness, trading, um, personal things. It is always one thing I always include is enjoying the journey, because I don't look at trading as something. I don't look at trading how the world teaches me to look at trading. I want. He said that's South, so I'm thinking Caribbean. She said that's South, so I'm thinking Caribbean. All right, we'll go with Caribbean. Um, but I don't look at trading the way the world teaches it, because I want to enjoy what I'm doing. If I'm going to be doing this for years, a long time, I want to actually enjoy it. So I treat trading as something enjoyable. I enjoy to cook. I enjoy to, work out. So I actually want trading to be enjoyable. I don't want trading to be something that I dread. And every time I take a loss, every time I come to the charts, I'm like, my mind is all over the place. So I ask myself, I put myself in a position, how can I make that happen? And that's one way. When I look at my levels, yeah, I look at it from trading from level to level, but how can I make it enjoyable? Every time I look at my areas, I look at it as a different destination, and how I look at it as places that I want to travel. So if I want to, all the places I want to travel in the world, I will say that those are those destinations when I'm going to there. So what we're looking at now is, we'll do what Teresa said. If gold maintains below this key area of resistance, then our destination is going to be the Caribbeans. And all we have to do is be able to find a spot on the bus. Just pick me up. Like, if that's still the destination, pick me up. So right now, gold is actually trading within this range. It is creating lower highs on the 1 hour time frame. We had in this nice potential high, higher low, lower high, lower low. This is the key area, right? We see gold is not closing below. So now going to trade this deep resistance as here also in the past. Price came up, price going to be some below this zone right here. Price going to be below this zone here. The price could potentially go down to this support and be actually just. So price keep it consistent down here. The price does break above this area, price should come into this resistance range. The only price maintains below 50, then it's the risk of it. If price maintains lower, if it's below this area, then price could potentially break back above, and then we'll look at our next destination, which will be, let's call it Canada. Which would be Canada. Perfect. So this is what I am looking at on gold right now. It's nothing to look for trade wise. UJ is down into this area of sorts. Let me get this up. It looks like that alert again. UJ is down there. We're saying up here. Then we get to go to the Bahamas. We'll be looking to go to the Bahamas up here. UJ, not UJ, GU. GU had a nice GU played that I took on that Wednesday. They played out with the T. When they came out, it was a 1, 2, 4, 1 here. That was basically above the way. Right, we came out. We got the original GU. Let's see. Right here, coming down into the lows here, and then looking to target down into this next 4 hour support. We came down into that 1, 2, and I don't know what's in this. Down like 1, 2. I'll that here and I'll tracing with it. That's what the because FOMC is tomorrow, so I'm going to be looking forward to FOMC, and that is for the rest of the week, like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and going on into next week. That is when those setups are going to be absolutely phenomenal, beautiful to look at. Let me see something. Let me pull up the chat. Chat went away because I seen somebody ask the question. I think it was Teresa. Do all of your pairs include USD? Is there a reason Uh, I I SPX, yeah, SPX does include USD in the indices. It's actually not a reason. It's really not a specific reason. It's really personal preference. Like GA, sometimes I'll look at GA, at times, whenever it is like clean and structure wise. But that's just personally what I used to trade. I used to trade EJ a lot. EJ was actually EJ is a very beautiful pair. EJ is a very beautiful pair. Euro JPY. I used to trade. Was it AJ? I don't know, but I know Euro JPY was an absolutely Euro JPY is beautiful. Honestly, when I was trading JPY, Euro JPY is actually looks cleaner than GA than me. GA to GA at times. Look at how beautiful EJ looks. EJ is a very beautiful pair. Euro JPY is a very beautiful pair. When I've traded it, I've observed it moves smoother than GA to me personally. When I was trading it, EJ looked absolutely. I wonder if, let me see. I probably still don't even have my drawings up since the last time that I traded this in a while. Yeah, because EJ is all the way. No. Yeah, like in 2025. Yeah, last time I was like, it was way later. We gotta make sure that we can time. This makes me we can time. I have a preference. I just have the trade. I'm sorry, only on fears. Really go out. I love to trade indices, but indices is not clean right now. But gold and if gold and Nas were just clean at the same time, I will literally only trade those two pairs all year. That's literally it. May even start doing that anyway. But neither here nor there. Let's go to the chart. Let me go to my pull up my canvas. Let's go here. And what we're going to break down today is we're going to talk about the system flow and how to and how to overcome hesitation as a trader. So for every single system that I have, it follows the same exact thing. The only thing that I change is what the system is. So for example, that we're going to talk about hesitation as a trader, but I'm gonna make a video on this one. But this is how you can overcome social anxiety. This is what I did, and I will share my. I don't have the. I thought I had the chart somewhere. I thought I had that other chart somewhere up here. But I'm going to make a video for YouTube today on how to overcome social anxiety and exactly what I did, because I followed the same system to overcome social anxiety. I have my actual training, like the way that I work out. I built the same thing out with this, and I just keep on any system that I'm building. I just keep the same concept and I just go more in depth with it. So the 5 steps, and we're going to break down each one of them individually. So the 5 steps is like this, and it goes with literally anything. You can take all 5 of these and you can apply this to literally anything in your life, and you will see that it applies to all of those concepts, right? So you start off with clarity. Clarity is the first step, and it's the most important step. This is the step where you spend the most time on. Because if you don't have clarity, you can't. What are you practicing? You're not clear on what you're practicing. So when it comes to clarity, this is the same questions that we will ask. So let's go to step 1. Clarity. This is the format that I always like to follow. It's like, how can I get clarity? Because some people don't know how to get clarity. And I would tell myself as well, how can I, if there's so many things, how can I narrow it down deeper and deeper and deeper? Once again, I learned the best through analogies, through parables, through simplicity. I love to visualize it. So the first step of clarity to actually understand how can you overcome this is question the problem before trying to solve it. What is the root cause? So before you try to solve the problem, question it first. Ask yourself, what is the root cause of my hesitation? Why do you hesitate so much on the charts? This is asking this question. This is a personal thing. You got to sit with this. So I think it was Kristen that asked me for this topic as well. So ask yourself this, Kristen. What is the root cause of my hesitation? Like, truly sit there and think, why am I hesitating on the charts? Is it because there's so many ways, right? But let me give you a few examples. Is it because you have past trauma where you would take certain actions in the past and you got a negative result from it? So now you hesitate a little bit more on the decisions that you make? Is it from certain decisions, is it because of your finances? It could be you are hesitating because you don't want to lose a certain amount of money because you know this could take care of this, X, Y, and Z. You got to really sit down with yourself and ask yourself, what is the root cause of my hesitation? Because without clarity, you will fight the wrong problem. This is something, and when you get this, one thing I've observed is don't ever try to rush clarity. Never try to rush it. Every person, any problem that we deal with, whether we want to admit it or not, you know the reason why. There's no problem that we have that we don't know the reason why we're having that problem. We're the ones that's having a problem. There's no reason, there's no way how somebody else knows your problem better than you know your problem. You know the problem. It's a matter of confronting it and actually giving space to allow that root cause to come. Because if you've been like a pile of laundry, if you had a certain shirt that you liked and it was at the bottom of the pile and that was your favorite shirt, and you keep on piling things on top, you got to actually dig down and remove all the excess layers on top to get down to that favorite shirt that you had at the bottom. That's the same thing when it comes to the root cause of it. You got to actually dig down into the root. So if you have things covering it up, if you were running away from it and you were trying to hide and trying to cover up certain things, you know how people, prime example, someone who is dealing with a lot of, let's say, internal stuff, like an internal pain, what do they like to keep covering it up with? Laughs, smiles, drugs, attention. They will keep covering it up so they don't have to deal with that. So in order to get to the root cause of this hesitation, you got to uncover all that stuff. And that takes time to really sit down with yourself. You can't just... This isn't like a math test. Or when we were in school, it's like you only got a certain specific time. You got 30 minutes or until the bell rings to solve this problem. So you got to actually be quick with it. This is not like that. You can take the time. Okay, what is my root cause? And if you want to find that answer, don't try to fill the void while you're trying to find that answer. So if you really want to get down deep for it, go for a walk. Don't take your phone with you. Go for a walk. Go out in nature. Go lay down. Not you don't even have to lay down, but go sit in somewhere in silence. Start journaling. Start writing out certain things. Don't try to just say, okay, I'll come back to this, and you go scroll through social media to look for an answer, or to go watch TV, or do something that's just going to literally just block your mind even more. Just spend time with that. Just take the time, and even if you got to go throughout your day, just let that linger in your mind. Well, what is the root cause of my hesitation? What is the root cause? Like, let me actually truly dig down. Do I hesitate? What other areas of my life do I hesitate? When I'm about to talk to people, I hesitate. Oh, okay, when I'm about to make certain big decisions, I hesitate. Okay, I see what it is. It's every time that I'm about to take that leap into a new door, that leap into a other side, that next level, those are the times that I hesitate. I never hesitate when it comes to things that's normal to me. I don't hesitate when I'm putting on my left and right shoe. I don't hesitate when it comes to certain decisions. It's always those decisions that I know that there's another side to it. I always hesitate at those. Boom. Now you have clarity. You know exactly when you hesitate. You know the exact root cause of your hesitation. Once you have that, then this is the next step when it comes to clarity. Visualize two futures, because remember, I love visualization. Future A is the other side of life after overcoming it. So I want you guys to give your input on this as well. That's why I left this one blank. I could have just put a bunch of examples, but I just wanted to leave this blank. We can do this together. The other side of life after overcoming the hesitation. What is it like? Just give me words, characteristic traits. You guys tell me. So you guys visualize it, and whatever comes in your mind, what is that? Fruitful. Okay. Fruitful. I like that. Let's see. After hesitation, freeing. Okay. Freedom. That's not how you spell fruitful. F-U-R-I. Fruitful. Fruitful. Freeing. Let's see. After overcoming hesitation, we got, you said freedom. You can have peace. That's so crazy. She just pulled up and she said, Shalom, peace. That's actually insane. I was just thinking the same thing. Peace. Good worded. Being fully confident. Fully confident. And then we go even deeper, right? Then you start visualizing, wait a minute, if I'm confident like this, imagine the confidence that I have off the charts. How I carry myself off the charts. So add more, let me add more to this. On and off the charts. Fully confident on and off the charts. Let me see. What else? Better opportunities, more opportunities. And because as I'm saying this, I'm visualizing certain things. Because I'm looking at it like, let's say you overcome hesitating on the charts, right? Let's show how deep this really gets, right? Let's say if you hesitate on the charts, look at how that could correlate. Because if you hesitate on the charts, trust and believe you're going to hesitate off the charts. And imagine how that plays out in the long run, right? Let's go a little bit deeper. Let me give you a little bit deeper scenario. By overcoming this on the charts, you could find your wife. Since I'm a man, I could find my wife. You could find your husband. Why? Because think about it. You always hesitate in public, and that person, let's say the most beautiful, the one that you like, you're always hesitating because you're thinking, I can't have that one. She wouldn't want me. I'm not even gonna say nothing. She's beautiful. This is like my time. I would love to get to know her. Nah, what chance do I have? You hesitate so much. Now you stop doing that. You overcome that. Now you're no longer afraid to talk to him. And what if you just met that God sent woman, and that was the one because you didn't hesitate from talking to her? And now, boom, without that no hesitation, now you build out a family, kids, all that. That's how deep it goes with the visualization. That's when you visualize it, I want you to visualize it like that. They go deeper than just, I just make more money. Actually, truly visualize this. Because the reason behind this system, we're not just doing the system just to do it. We want to actually make this automatic. And when you take the time to literally visualize out this, and this is why we have two scenarios. I'm going to show you the second one. It's going to make it not just visualizing future A. I want you to visualize future B as well, because this is going to make it deeper as well. So the next thing I want you guys to do is let's visualize future B, which is the same path of hesitation. If nothing changes, if you continue to keep hesitating, what would your life look like? So we're going to visualize, we're going to have both of them. We visualize and we already see what our life will look like outside of hesitation. Now, what does life look like if you continue to stay the same? Let's say, let me move this down some. If nothing changes, if you continue to stay the same, let's say you're still hesitating, you got, let me see. Let me just think for a second. And if you guys have any ideas, let me know. What does life of hesitation look like? What does a life of hesitation look like? Let's say missed opportunity, more missed opportunities, missed opportunities, missed opportunities, stagnation, self-doubt, confusion, sadness. So let's say sorrow. I like the word sorrow. Fear. Boom. Oh, that's not how you spell fear. So we have these, right? So we would visualize this. So I would literally just visualize what my life would look like if I just continue to hesitate. Visualize how you would feel, how your life would be like, how you would be on the inside and outside. And there's a reason why doing something like this is so powerful, doing both scenarios. Because now that you visualize both, if you still decide to go down future B, that is 110% on you. You can't blame nobody else. Because instead of just visualizing, oh, the good side, let's visualize, what if I keep on going down the same path? And now when you put yourself in a scenario where you visualize both, you can't just continue to keep staying on this path. Now you actually like, if I really choose to decide to stay on path B, this is what my life is going to look like. When I just visualized all of these beautiful things that can come from just overcoming this, that alone makes you want to overcome it. And then this next box that I have right here, I have it empty, but for me personally, like I said, I always like to compare certain things with analogies. I was thinking of an analogy to put here when it comes to hesitation. Like, let me give you an example. The one that I came up with for my training, like my actual workout, and I'm going to share the one that I did for social anxiety to show you guys what I mean by it. So for me, the way that my training is, like for my fitness, I look at it, it's like one giant door. So my goal is to unlock the 5-second full planche and the 5-second full front lever. And the analogy that I came up with, it was two of them. It's like one giant door. So I want you to imagine a huge door. It was a meme, not even a meme. It was a video that popped up in my mind when I was thinking of this. Do you guys remember? It was a video that I saw. It was like a door, and it was like a 15 different locks. Let me see if I can find that video. It might be on X. I want to see if I can find a video to give you guys a visual representation of it. Let's see. Door with a lot of locks. It was a video that I saw. Let me see. It might be on YouTube. Because I want to see if I can give you guys an actual video of it. Let me see. What was it at? I think it was this. Let me see.
This motherfucker is locked.
Alright, let me see. Yeah. So this is a video that popped. Like let me give it, like, this is a visual representation of what it could look like. Can I make this bigger? No, I'm gonna just play it anyway. Look. See how it's one door, so many locks.
This motherfucker is locked.
One door with so many locks, right? That's how I visualize it. It's one huge door with multiple locks. Obtaining all the keys will unlock the door, and behind it, it is the reward. So that's how I visualize when it comes to unlocking the full planche front lever when I was building this out. And I asked myself, what are specific keys that fit each lock? So I said my scapular strength, training the specific movements, analyzing, and enjoying the journey. And when I said enjoying the journey, I said think of it like a huge GTA map, right? If you guys ever played GTA, if you know what GTA is, you know how at first in GTA, there was only a specific part of the map that you could see, but as you explore, you unlock more and more and more of the map. It was just a specific area, like let's say Los Santos or wherever that place was, and then when you explore the upper side, you unlock that part of the map, this part of the map, this part of the map, and that's how I look at it when it comes to this fitness journey and unlocking this move. There's going to be so many things that I unlock and learn. That's one analogy, and then I did the same thing for this, and I did this, for example, for the social anxiety. As most people you interact with today, you will never see again 5 years from now. This removes the illusion of permanent judgment. Social anxiety is not a permanent condition. It is a temporary mental barrier built from avoidance. Medication may suppress your symptoms, but action removes the fear. When it comes to the medications is like a band-aid, right? It's just, you know how you have a band-aid, you get a cut, the band-aid doesn't heal your cut. All it is just temporary. It just temporarily protects it for a little bit. You have a cut in your arm, the band-aid is there, but guess what happens? The band-aid eventually loses stick, and now you got to keep on putting on the band-aid every single time. That band-aid does not heal the cut. You got to actually do the work, the action, the healing. Your body has to actually heal within for it to actually change. And that's what I look like at it for any medication. But any type of internal disease, like when people go to drugs, for that, drugs don't cure anything. Drugs just give you temporary. Drugs keep you a slave. Let's put that into perspective. The drugs that they have, it just keeps you a slave. But let's go back to hesitation with the trade. So that's what this empty box was right here. If you guys think of something, let me know. And then we go to step 2, which is practice. So we spend all our time, our focus on clarity. The rest of the steps become super simple. Because I know exactly, once again, without clarity, you'd be fighting the wrong problem. I know exactly what it is. So let's say, for example, whatever that practice is for you. But let's say, for example, let's use the scenario of hesitating, the hesitation part, right? If you're hesitating on the charts whenever you're like about to make a big level up or whatever, what practice looks like is so simple. Take action. Every time you hesitate, take an action. Every single time you feel hesitation, take action as quickly as possible. If you are hesitating and then on top of that, as soon as you hesitate, I want you to stop and understand why you're hesitating. Because you could be hesitating for 2 different reasons. If you're on the charts, let's talk about trading in particular. If there is at any point in time when you hesitate to make a decision of, I'm assuming like when you said, when you asked for this topic, Christian, it's not hesitation of like the setup, it's actually entering the trade or exiting the trade. If you ever have that point of hesitation before entering or exiting, if you hesitate before entering, first ask yourself, are you entering based on your strategy or not? Yes or no. It's a simple question, simple answer. If you ask yourself every single time you hesitate, does this setup that I'm about to take, does it align with my strategy? Yes or no? Because if it's a yes, it aligns, take the trade. And the goal right now is to make hesitation following your system automatic. Not just anytime you get the urge to jump into the market. That's why you got to really keep on repeating it, analyzing, and then refinement. Practice, repetition, refinement. They all work together. They all work as one. Because when you practice something, you're repeating it over and over and over again. And the more that you repeat it, the more opportunities you have to refine it. So let me take this off. This is what these 3 look like. If you observe that, okay, I'm hesitating because but it follows my system, take the trade. Take the trade and use a proper risk. Take the trade, use the proper risk. This isn't one of those, and we're not gonna sit here and say, oh, just take the trade and just use the smallest lot size possible. No. Why would you do that with your strategy? If you're building out your strategy, that's a completely different story. But if you have an actual strategy and you're hesitating, overcome that by actually taking a trade with the risk that actually makes sense. Don't just, oh, I'm going to just use a zero point 0.01 lot size. That does absolutely nothing for you. Nothing for you. You have a strategy. Why are you using a lower lot size on your strategy that you already take the time to build out? If you're hesitating because of that, just take the trade, use whatever risk that you would normally use. Take the trade. If you hesitate because it's not aligned with your strategy, then stop for a second and understand, like, okay, I'm about to take the trade, but wait, it doesn't align with my strategy. That's not hesitation. Understand what hesitation actually is. And we're not going to Google, and we're not going to look up no scientific research. Let's just use common sense. It's a difference between hesitating versus having wisdom. What's the opposite of hesitation? What's the word for? It's a word. Can you guys tell me off the top of your head? It's not when you don't make a decision so fastly, when you don't make an impulse decision, and you have that, like, wait a minute, let me stop for a second, let me pause. That's not hesitation. Impulsive. You're not, if you are about to take a trade and you have hesitation, I want to know it's a word. If you stop, because let's say, for example, I go to the charts, because it's a word. It'll come to me. I'm gonna let it come to me. And this is a prime example of, remember what I told you guys earlier? I want to grow in the Holy Spirit. I want to build a relationship with the Holy Spirit, and that comes, one thing is practice, is not immediately going to Google for an answer, not immediately going to look up the answer. I want to actually let it come to me. I want that word to come to me, and if it doesn't come right now, it eventually come later on. I don't care if it comes later on throughout the day. I don't want to keep on trying to get a response from the world. If I'm trying to build a relationship with the Holy Spirit, that Spirit will guide me and tell me what I need to know. But if I'm coming to the charts right now, and I got my drawing tool up right now, but I'm about to take a trade right here, and I hesitate. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't take this trade, because this doesn't align with my strategy. This is not a part of my system. That's not hesitating. That's using discernment. That's using common sense. That's using wisdom. That's being wise. I'll just say wise for right now. That's wise. That's making a wise decision. That's not hesitating. That's making a wise decision. If I see a setup right now playing out, and I know that I need a candle closure, let's say this 4-hour candle, right? I know that this 4-hour candle has to actually close for me to get confirmation. And I'm sitting here thinking, should I enter? Should I not enter? Maybe if I enter. That hesitation, that's not hesitation. That's just the Holy Spirit warning me. Yo, you should not be making this decision right now. This is not a part of your system. Stop for a second. You're not just getting in. Stop. That is not hesitation. So there's nothing wrong with that. When you are, I see a let me actual example, like this looks like an actual stuff. If I see the room, let's say I've seen this. Let's say overlap. Price broke below, broke back up. I know this is a break and retest setup with my system. Everything aligns, and if I'm here, if I feel that hesitation of what's wrong, is this no, that's not I'm here, now hesitation, I see it close, and I know I'm gonna take a trade. I'm going to the next level. I'm gonna actually use actual risk. You know, 0.01 is gonna change it. You use a 0.01 or a regular lot size. If you have a system, get into the trade. You already built out the system. If you are hesitating, enter the trade. I'm going to use my normal study numbers and let it. So that's what I did. Instead of me, and this is the difference, right? Instead of you focusing so much on it playing out, you already built a system in the first place. You know your strategy works. It plays out more times than it does not. You already know that. So you're not focusing on how much money you made, if it hits your TP or not. You're, yo, I got into the trade. I didn't hesitate. And what happens is, this is what happens. The more that you repeat it, let's go back to the canvas. The more that you keep on doing this, the more repetition you get, the more refinement that you get. You see both sides. You get to see the sides when you don't hesitate, you follow your system, you get into the trade and it plays out. And you also get to see the other side of when you don't hesitate, you get into the trade and you actually lose. Because one of the main culprits, one of the main things about hesitation, and I've observed this, and I'm observing this a lot from analyzing, and that's why I love making these videos and doing these type of like videos of overcoming social anxiety, overcoming all of these different things, because I see a repetitive pattern. All of these social anxiety and especially hesitation, that comes from a mindset of only thinking one-sided. Because when you always hesitate, you're always thinking of the bad thing to happen. And when you repeat it more and more and more, you get to see that, yo, it's not always bad. The good things happen as well. It doesn't always have to be a bad thing. And that's why you have to keep on repeating it, because it's not the aspect of the bad thing doesn't happen. No, it's the aspect of taking action. You don't know. Hesitation comes from, it's within. Because you can hesitate on a decision, but when you actually take action, that's when you get the actual result. You could hesitate to get into a trade following your system, thinking, what if it doesn't play out? You don't know that. Until you actually get into the trade, then you would actually see if it plays out or not. Hesitation, it stops you from taking action. When you overcome hesitation, it's not the matter of whether you win or lose the trade, whether the decision goes out the way you planned it or not. That's not what the case is. Hesitation is overcoming, actually taking action. Because when you hesitate, all you do is just think about mental stuff. You can hesitate on taking an action, going to talk to somebody. You got 15,000 thoughts running through your head. Let's say we use the same thing for trading, but let's use a real world example. Let me show you how this correlates to both. If there was once again, like let's say a female, let's say somebody that I wanted to talk to, and she looked like my type, and I just wanted to get to know her, and I started hesitating. I'm thinking she already has a boyfriend, she already has a man, she's too beautiful, she already has a man, she already has a boyfriend, she probably doesn't want nothing to do with me. All these things in my mind. None of that, everything that you hesitate about, none of that is reality. That is all fictional. That's like being in a virtual reality world. When you hesitate, you're sitting here with what's them AI goggles, the meta glasses on. You're in a virtual reality world. None of that is real. Versus if I actually go talk to her and she tells me that she has a boyfriend and she's not interested, that is actual reality. Instead of me in my mind thinking 1,000 different ways, well, what if she doesn't like me, X, Y, and Z? That's not real. Me actually going up to talk to her, she tells me, yeah, I have a boyfriend. That is the reality of it. What if the same scenario, no, I don't have a boyfriend. Boom. And now you get to know her. That could be your wife. You never know. Same exact concept when it comes to trading. Remember what we said with clarity. Why do you keep hesitating on the chart in the first place? Are you hesitating because you don't have a strategy? If you don't have a strategy and you're trying to build out your strategy and you're hesitating, that is not hesitation. You got to understand what the actual true meaning of that hesitation is. If you don't have a strategy and you're still trying to build out your strategy and you're hesitating on taking the trade or not, that's not hesitation. You just don't have clarity. You just don't have a strategy. If you had a strategy and you're hesitating, you know that is the root cause. If you don't have a strategy and you're hesitating, that's not hesitation. Understand that. It's two completely different things. You're not hesitating if you don't have a strategy. If I don't know how to do something and I'm sitting here trying to figure it out and I'm thinking of, X, Y, and Z, that's not hesitation. I'm not hesitating. I don't have nothing clear to hesitate on. Versus if you have a system and you're hesitating on it and you know your system works, you know what a break and retest is. You can call it out to the T. You know how to enter trades and exit trades. You know exactly of it. And that is hesitation. When you know exactly what your system is, if I'm once again looking at the scenario and I see the candle close as a tweezer bottom and everything formed out and I'm still waiting 5 to 10 seconds, let me wait one more candle. That is hesitation. Because you already have a clear strategy and you didn't get into the trade. Two completely different things of me looking at the market right here and seeing this bullish candle. And I'm looking for sells and seeing this bullish candle, and I see this candle close. I'm like, should I get in? Should I not get in? I'm a hesitate. I'm a hesitate. I'm not gonna get in right now. That's not hesitation. That's just me following my system. I'm not hesitating. This is nothing for me to hesitate about. If I'm down here and I still take trade, that's still not hesitation. Because price is trading at an area of support. I know I need to see price trading as resistance. This is a different conversation, right? When price comes back up into this range, right here, draw line. When price comes into this range, lower, I tweeze the top. Okay, boom. That's not instant. I know this is our system. If I would hesitate here, that is hesitation. Because my system gave me break to tweeze the top. If I would, that is what hesitation is. And that's simply going to move here. Go to canvas. The more that you do it, you keep doing it over and over and over again. Every single time that you hesitate, and repeat it off the charts as well. Every time that you hesitate off the charts, ask yourself, why am I hesitating? And the more that you do that, and the more that you actually take action whenever you have hesitation, take action. Write it down. I don't care if you got to take a notebook where you go, every single word that you go. If you got to take your phone, a whole specific section in your notes, every time you hesitate, write it down. Every single time you feel hesitation. If you feel it about like your system, get into the trade, and then write it down. Every time you hesitate, okay, I'm going out in public. Let's say I'm in a whole group of people. I feel hesitation of this. All right, let me type it down. Was about to make this decision right here. I hesitated. Go throughout your day. Okay, I was about to do this again. I hesitated. Go throughout your day. I was about to do this. I hesitated. And at the end of the day, you come back and look and see all the decisions that happened where you hesitated. And you start to see a repetitive pattern. You always hesitate at this specific thing. This cue happens, and now you hesitate. And guess what you start doing the next day? Now you're a lot more aware of it. So the next day when you come, okay, I remember I hesitated so many times. Every single time it was this. I hesitated here. So now I'm going to make sure, boom, I do this. I hesitated here. Every single time I did this on the charts, I'm going to make sure I do this. When I go out in public, I always hesitated when I was in a bigger group of people. Or I always hesitated when I seen a specific, like somebody that I was a female that I was interested in. So every single time I go out in public, I'm going to just say something. I'm going to make, not even having a full conversation, I'm going to make eye contact. I'm going to give him a compliment. Every single time I come to the charts, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take that trade. And guess what happens? The more that you critique it, the more that you refine it, what starts to happen is that system becomes automatic. So now you no longer have a gray area and fog of if you are hesitating. Now you have a clear idea and you know exactly actions to take whenever you have hesitation. You know the exact steps. The first thing that you do when you hesitate, you ask yourself a specific question. Why am I hesitating? Is this hesitation or is this discernment? Prime example, if I'm having a conversation with somebody, let me show you the difference between hesitation and discernment. This is what discernment looks like. If I'm having a specific conversation with somebody and I discern with their spirit and I see the type time that they are on and I understand, just like the word tells us, don't cast your pearls into swine, right? And I've observed, test this person's spirit, and I see that they are clearly of the world. And they clearly are not open-minded to hearing anything about the Most High, anything about certain things that I will have to say. If I know the truth about, let's say, like deeper meanings of certain things, and I see that in them, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna discern. I was about to say this, I'm not gonna say this. That's not hesitation, that's discernment. I was gonna speak on something, I was gonna say something deep or say something, but I know that if I were to cast this unto them, it's just gonna go in one ear and out the other. That is discernment. That's what discernment looks like. Hesitation is the opposite of, if I know a person comes to me and they're being open and saying, yeah, man, I'm dealing with, let's say, certain spiritual warfare, certain battles. They're trying to get closer to God and they're dealing with certain things. They have certain beliefs and they're doing certain things, and they're actually, I can see that they're open to learning. And I know that it's a truth that they need to hear that could really help them. They're doing something that the Most High does not want you to do. And I know that, and I'm hesitating because I don't want to hurt their feelings or, spare their feelings. That is hesitation. Two completely different things. Discernment and hesitating are two completely different things. If I know that this person, let's use the abominable foods, right? Let's say that they want to get closer to the Most High in X, Y, and Z, and they talk about the foods that they eat, and the word says we're not supposed to eat pork, right? And I know that's the truth, and they really want to learn and grow, but they were just talking about how they got them a BOT, X, Y, and Z, and I hesitate and say, well, man, what if I hurt their feelings? What if they feel some type of way? That's hesitation. Discernment is knowing that, okay, I got to tell them this. This is what they need to hear, and I'll tell them. Two completely different things. Know the difference between hesitation and discernment. You don't need a Google definition to know what hesitation is versus discernment. Use your wisdom to discern between that. And that's how you easily, and that's the system to follow to overcome hesitation as a trader. And just keep on following that every single day. You show up to the charts every single day. So every single time you see a setup, every single time an opportunity presents itself, take action. What do you guys think of that? Hopefully that helped you all. Let me know what you guys' input on that is. A spiritual trader, finally. Much love, much love, much love. Oh yeah, 110%. The Most High is the number one on my number one. Much love, much love. But yes, when it comes to trading, that's how it's supposed to be. Trading, every single thing, it does not matter what that you deal with. Understand that every single, whether it's anxiety, whether it's lack of confidence, those are all spiritual warfares within. Why is it that I can be this person that I am, and you got Teresa, you got Chris, you got Tommy, you got all these people? Why is it that we're all different people, but yet we all struggle with fear? Why is it that we all are different people, but we all may struggle with hesitation? It's not the person, so it's not you in particular, it's that spirit that dwells within you. It's the spirit of hesitation that dwells within you. It's not that you're just a hesitating person. You aren't, think about it. Nobody's born hesitated. When we were a child, you want to know how to understand that any single thing that you deal with, all these spiritual things, none of these are medical diagnosed things. Why? Because hesitation, right? When we were a child, how often did we hesitate as a child? We only hesitated once we were programmed to start hesitating. But as a child, we were so curious, we didn't hesitate on anything. Think about it. Childs speak their mind. They don't care what they say. I've noticed, I observe this all the time. That's why one of the things I love about working out at parks, like when I work out at the park and I see all the kids, I learn so much from children because the word tells us to be like babes. And I get such a beautiful opportunity to learn about children when I'm around children so much. And I love that so much. When I'm at the park, right? Every single time, every day, kids will come up to me like I'm their best friend. They don't know who I am. They're not afraid of me. They wouldn't think that I'm like a child predator or something like that. They just randomly come up to me like I'm their brother, their best friend, and just have normal conversations with me. They don't hesitate. Whenever I'm doing my skills of training handstands or anything that I'm training, they immediately come. Hey, can you teach me that? Hey, can I do this? Hey, can I try this? Can I try this? Can I try that? They don't hesitate at all. They don't care. I'm like, yeah, go ahead and try it. They just do it. Boom. They don't overthink it. And I've observed this. When I'm around children, children do not hesitate to try things. But when I'm around, let's say, people more my age or a little bit older, it's like a huge gap. I tell them, okay, try this X, Y, and Z. They always hesitate. They say, yeah, I tried the X, Y, and Z. Yeah, I don't think I can do that. I don't know if I can do that. It's rare that I talk to a child that says, I don't know I can do that. They don't care if they can do it or not. They're going to try it anyway. So that means hesitating as a child, that's a spirit that you allow within you. Social anxiety, when did we just was born and just had anxiety that when we were born? We didn't. These are things that we were programmed. Yes, it's because we have seen so much. Yes, we become so programmed to seeing things. Like, the more that we get older, we know what certain things that we can't do. Schools taught us a lot of things like failing. That's one of the biggest things I always talk about, that school brainwashed me personally, was the idea of failing. Now I know that failing is one of the most beautiful things, the most beautiful lessons that you can ever learn from failing. Because when you have such a fear of failing, you don't even take action. Guess what? That's where hesitation comes into play. Because let's say for example, right? You've been growing up and, they teach you that failing is a bad thing. The more that you fail, you get laughed at, you get bad grades, you get beatings. All these things happen from failure. So now you're hesitating so much. You don't want to fail. So if you know that you are going to fail at it, you're not even going to try to do it. Better late than never. Full of wonder, joy, quick to forgive. From my new favorite. Much love, man. Much love. But as a child, right? When we were when you hesitate so much, let me go back to my thought. But when you hesitate so much, the thing about it is you don't even take certain actions because you're afraid of failing at it. So think of all the decisions that you don't make because what if I fail at this? You were always focused on that one side. Remember, that's what the system taught us. The system always taught us, and we were brought up to learn that there's only one side of failure, the negatives. They show us the side that they want us to see, but don't understand that there's a whole different side to it. All we learned was this side over here of failing, all the things that happen when you fail. When you do something the wrong way, you get scrutinized from it, all these things. But we were never taught. Why weren't we ever taught about this side? The blessings that come from failure. Because the more that you fail, the more that you learn from something. If I gave up, I would never know how to do a handstand. I always look at it this, every single thing that I've obtained, every skill that I've learned, I failed at it more times than I've actually accomplished it. If you guys actually think about it, every single thing that you know how to do, you failed at it more times than you actually accomplished it. It took you more times of failing to learn how to walk as a child, and then you actually accomplished it. For me, I failed at, even though people say like, yo, the handstands that you do are amazing, I have failed at handstands far more to this day than I've actually accomplished it. Every single thing. I failed so many times. Trading. I've blown so many accounts. I've invested. I like to say invested. I've invested in so many accounts before it clicked, before I built the system that worked. I had to do trial and errors so many times, over and over and over and over and over again. And with those failures came the biggest blessing. I would have never had this system that I have now if I didn't fail so many times. If I would have just gave up and kept on going through the repetitive of, I don't want to fail, I don't want to take action. And then when another thing as well is that just popped in my mind is you're so afraid of failing, so you're easy to control, right? Because if you know that if I try doing this thing on my own, I'm potentially going to fail. If somebody were to tell you to do something a certain way because it's guaranteed for success, you're going to follow what they say verbatim and not even think about it. That's what school taught us. Go to school, get your degree, get your job, blah, 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 because that's a proven system. If you get a degree, it's proven that you have a higher chance of getting a job versus if you don't get a degree, correct? So most people follow that without even second guessing it, without even thinking. I found it. Much love, man. That actually made my day. But yes, that is what it's like. Let me see 1 second, make sure everything is clear. But yes, that is that's how to overcome hesitation as a trader. And if you guys have any other topics, there's literally, I can go over so many things. I can make so many videos about this. If there's another topic that you guys want to go over tomorrow, or anything else that you guys, any specific questions that you guys have for me, let me know. Because that's what I said. This system, bro, it's just so beautiful. It makes everything enjoyable. And the number one thing that I say with any single system, any single thing that you do, enjoy the journey. It does not, you should enjoy it, rejoice. Why does the word tell us so many times to rejoice? Think about it. Here we go again. When the word tells us to rejoice, look at when the word tells us to rejoice. The word does not only tell us to rejoice when we go through the good things. Think about it. The word doesn't just say rejoice when God blesses you. Rejoice when you get this, when you receive this gift. It does not just say that. It also says to rejoice when you go through the tribulations. It says to rejoice when you go through the fiery trials. So it says to rejoice on both sides. It doesn't say to just rejoice when you're going through good things. So when you're going through these spiritual warfares, when you're trying to overcome hesitation, when you're trying to overcome, let's say, lust, when you're trying to overcome social anxiety, when you're trying to overcome, let's say, gluttony, when you're trying, like, for example, like Teresa, like you said, getting better eating habits. Rejoice when you're going through every single one of these things and ask yourself, how can I personally, what is enjoyable for you? Not taking everybody else's, not what others think is enjoyable. What is enjoyable to you? I share mine. To me, I love parables. I love analogies. It makes it so much more enjoyable to look at life and look at trading as that. That's why I teach in that way. It's supposed to be fun. You're supposed to enjoy it. And another reason why we're supposed to enjoy the trials and tribulations, because when you do things on God's timing and you allow Him to guide you, you don't know how long it's going to take before that result happens. So why would you worry about it anyway? You don't know how long it's going to take before that blessing comes. It could take months, it could take years. If it's going to take a certain amount of time why not enjoy it anyway? Why would you put yourself in a position to where I'm gonna suffer? Hopefully, it's only suffering for a month. Hopefully, it's only X, Y, and Z. Hopefully, it's only this, that, and the third. You gotta actually enjoy it. What if the Most High needs you to go through something to refine you, to get you to become better for a year? Once again, go back to what I said earlier, visualizing. Visualize future A and future B. You visualize future A where you actually enjoy the tribulation. Whatever tribulation that you're going through. Let's say, what if I actually enjoyed it? What if I looked at it from this perspective? Okay, I'm going through financial problems. What if I actually enjoyed going through financial problems? What if I looked at it from a different aspect of things? Me going through financial problems, I can't buy certain things. Here's a good example. I can't buy certain things. I can't travel to certain places. Oh, that's a blessing. What if I learned how to, let's say I can't buy certain foods. What if I learn how to what if I learn how to grow my own foods? Oh wow, this is a blessing. I can practice fasting more. I don't have the money. I can't afford getting all these, groceries. What if I actually, that's a beautiful blessing. I can fast a lot more. And me fasting more, that grows me closer to the Most High. I grow more in the spirit. I starve my flesh. Now you're focused on that. And versus side B of, oh man, I don't got no money. I'm going to be starving. I'm not going to be able to eat. I'm struggling. I feel so embarrassed. What if others look at me a certain way because I don't have any money? I can't do this. I can't buy this. My clothes, I gotta buy the lesser brand, lesser value clothes. I'm caring about this. I'm caring about that. Look at how terrible your life is. Versus future A, the first one. Man, I don't care. Clothes, hey, I'm grateful that I got clothes on my back. I don't care if it's Nike. I don't care if it's Prada. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's Walmart brand, great value brand. I don't care what it is. I'm grateful that I have clothes on my back. I don't care what anybody else thinks about me. I understand this. I'm okay. Look at the two different sides. Those are two completely different versions. We're going through the same exact thing, yet two different outlooks. Why is it that, beautiful analogy, the most stories that hold the most impact are those who came from very little to becoming super successful. We got that in the actual world now, and we also got that in the Bible. Look at the biggest stories that we know about, right? The ones that had the biggest impacts, because there's so many people that's talked about in the Bible. But why is there repetitive ones of being the ones that's talked about the most? Paul, who went from Saul to Paul. Saul was a man that was doing so much wickedness, so much corruption, yet he wrote most of the New Testament. We talk about him so much. We talk about Job so much. Why? Because Job had everything stripped away from him. Job was going through so much. We talk about Job so much, from where he started to where he came. We talk about Joseph all the time. Joseph, prison. Cast away by his own brothers. Prison. Being falsely accused. But yet had this huge, crazy blessing. Moses, who took out a man. Look what he did. Solomon, from a person who said, yo, I'm a babe to this. I don't know how to govern people. No wisdom, to being the wisest man in the world. We talk about all these people in the Bible that had such a huge impact. Why? Because they went through these trials and tribulations and they had this huge level up. Look at it in today's world, right? Why is it that you have somebody who was poor, homeless, and they became widely successful versus the person that was poor and homeless and it's still there, or died in that type of way and died in that type of living? Why? It's because two people, you went through the same exact thing, but one person looked at it differently than the others. One person seen what they went through as something of inspiration, as motivation, as a drive. That was their driver. Being homeless, being poor, and seeing others actually living a good, successful life, that was that driver that said, yo, I'm never going to be like this ever again. So as they're pushing and pushing, they had that past, and they know I am never going to put myself in that position ever again. Versus the other person who played the victim and was blaming everybody else and spent all their time hating on the next man instead of focusing on building their own future. Same scenarios, two completely different outcomes. The way that you view something will drastically change the outcome. Drastically change the outcome. Let me see. That's crazy. This is exactly what I've been struggling with. Stuck in the loop, so confused by the results and the destination. Oh man, all praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High. That's the number one thing. If you look at any single, and I've observed this, and I love looking at life like this, even for myself. That's certain things that I could struggle with at times, especially for me. It'd be times like that where, because I know that with the greater blessing, the greater trials and tribulations. That's why the word says, be not many masters, because you have the greater condemnation. So there'd be times where, that spiritual warfare in the moment, but I gotta stop, man. I gotta look at it, and it's like, yo, I gotta look at this a different way. And I'm telling you, once I started looking at that, there's one thing. I'm gonna make a video about this on the way to when I go work out today. Because I also did this other thing as well. Let me show you guys. Let me give you a testimony. I posted a video on my YouTube yesterday. This is what it looks like. It's just a 5-minute video of me talking. But the thing about it is, it was back in 2021, 2022, when I was delivery driving, door dashing every single day. I'll never forget this, right? Let me show you how the difference of what it was like for me and how I missed out on my blessings because of it. I want to share my testimony. I used to delivery drive every single day, and these type of thoughts that arise in my mind, these conversations with you all, I used to have these conversations with myself in the car every single day, and I would take out my phone and I would just record myself speaking on certain things that I was noticing, observing, certain things that I was dealing with, things that I was noticing in the world as I was delivery driving, the pattern that I was seeing in the Matrix. I would literally record those videos, and guess what I did? I had hundreds of videos in my phone, not just a couple, hundreds of video in my phone, and I never posted not a single one of them. Because I hesitated, because I was so focused on, well, what will others think of me for delivery driving, and how would others look at me, people that knew me. And guess when this was the time when I dropped out of college too. I was dropping out of college, learning how to trade and delivery driving, and I was like, yo, what will others think of me? I dropped out of college, now I'm delivery driving. A year ago I was this person who was in all this, like, I was not the same person that I am now. And I'm this completely changed person, renewed mind, the way that I think, the way that I speak on things. I was not talking this way a year ago. And now I'm making these type of videos and stuff. People may look at me weird, crazy, all this stuff. And I never posted that. And I seen how I blocked my blessings. If I would have started posting every single one of those videos that I did, not trying to find structure, I can guarantee you, and I know for a fact, I would probably have 1 million subscribers right now. Completely different scenario. There's so many people that I would have impacted, because I remember saying this in this video that I made yesterday. I remember saying, you know what I realized? I told myself, I realized that these same conversations that I had with myself back in those videos, I would be having those same conversations with people in real life, and I would see the impact that it made on those people. Like, for example, you guys. These conversations that I'm having with you all, I would have these conversations years ago. And I see the impact that they make with you all and everybody else. And I'm like, yo, wow, there's so many people that I could have been saving and planting the seeds in years ago, but I never took that action because of the hesitation. It's because of how I viewed my situation that I was going through back then. Instead of being grateful for it, I knew that, yo, this is a different light. Because for me back then, the reason why I hesitated was because I was stepping in a different light that I've never been in before. I was stepping on that other side of comfortable. I was stepping into that uncomfortable realm. And for me, I was afraid of that. And I was always, all those thoughts, it caused me to not even take action. So I told myself, I'm doing that differently now. Whenever I'm driving in the car now, whenever I do that, and if there's a thought that comes up into my mind, I'm recording it. And I'm going to do the same thing. Just like, I look at it like Jonah. And this is how I rejoice through it. It reminded me of Jonah because Yah told Jonah to go tell the people what he needed them to hear. He said no. And he did what he did, and guess what Jonah did? He actually took action and he went to go do it. He went to go be obedient, and look at the blessing that came from that. Even though he was disobedient, the Most High gave him another opportunity, another chance. It would have been foolish of him to not take that second chance. Prime example for me, it'd be foolish for me to understand this now, to have the knowledge that I have now and not take action on it. That would be insanely foolish. So now I'm doing that now, taking action now. I make videos and it's whatever that's going through my mind. Yesterday it was more of just explaining that, but I want to improve my speech as well, improve the way that I'm talking, because I see that the Most High, he keeps on increasing my audience and he keeps on showing me the impact that he wants me to do speaking. So I want to improve the way that I speak, improve my voice, especially like my vocabulary, not trying to use a bunch of filler words, saying certain things like, or repeating certain things over and over and over again, the same thing that I repeated before. If I say that, what I do now is, even if it's live with you guys or if I'm making a video, I would actually in that moment say that out loud, because I did that in a video that I did yesterday. I repeated twice that, and that's crazy, I can remember exactly what I said. I said at one point in time that these videos, I can come back and look at them over a year later to see how I've improved my speech, improved my voice. And then a couple of minutes into the video, I repeated the same thing again, and then I stopped myself in the middle of that video. And I said out loud, prime example here, I'm repeating the same thing that I said earlier. So it's those small things that I'm trying to improve with my speech. But that's just my testimony. That's one of the things that I've observed, and now I look at it, it's so beautiful, man. I love it. I love it because once again, most people, for one, now that I've observed this, most of the people that I deal with on social media in the first place, bro, they're all fake. Most of the people, most of the accounts, they're all NPCs, man. Most people are NPCs. Most accounts are NPCs. And it was another testimony, right? I want to share this with you guys. It's so many beautiful things that happened. That same exact day, this was yesterday, I went into a store and I was waiting in line. And another thing that I asked for, right, for me is the discerning of spirits, increasing my discerning of spirits. I want to focus more on looking at the spirits that's within people, because I can't help somebody by just looking at their physical form. If I just look at the person's face or whatever, or their body, and I don't truly understand what spirit dwells within that person, how can I help you? If I can't identify that, oh, you're dealing with the spirit of fear, hesitation, doubt, anxiety, you're dealing with these spirits, how can I help you if I can't identify that? How can I be a servant to the Most High, to be a blessing to others, if I can't even identify the spirits that's in them? I want that to be increased on a whole different level, to the aspect of not just seeing the underlining of somebody that clearly has hate or envy for you. I want to be able to discern the spirit that they try to hide, that they try to cover up. I want to be able to truly see what the normal eye can't see. I want to actually truly be able to see those spirits that really are lingering in somebody so I can help them the most. And it was the discerning of spirits. I had the opportunity of increasing in that yesterday. I was in the store and I had just like one of my like a workout shirt, right? Like a regular workout shirt. Something like this. And I was just in line and it was a guy. He wasn't saying anything for a second. And then all of a sudden, he said, "When are you going to start working out?" And I looked at him and then I seen his physique. And then I noticed a few things as well. For one, his physique. Second thing I noticed, and at first when he said that, I think I was on my phone. I was looking at something on my phone. I was on my phone. He said, "When are you going to start working out?" I heard what he said the first time. I wasn't making eye contact with him. I looked over again, and I seen him, and then I asked him again, and I looked at him in his eye. I made eye contact with him. It's key. I looked at him. I looked at him. I said, "What did you say?" And I looked at him in his eye. And he said, this is like looking at because I got two different cameras. But looking at the camera, he said, when I looked at him, and I looked at him in his eye and said, "What did you say?" I said, "What did you say?" I didn't say it like in a rude way. I just said, "What did you say?" And when he saw that I made eye contact with him, guess what he did? He looked down and he asked that same question again. He couldn't make eye contact with me. He asked the same question again. The first time when he asked it, he made eye contact because he looked at me. I could see it out the corner of my eye. But when I actually turned to him and made eye contact with him and asked him the same thing, he said, when are you going to start working out?" Because he clearly seen my physique. He clearly seen the difference. And as soon as when I looked him in the eye and he looked down, I already knew the spirit that dwelled within him. Jealousy, envy, hate. And he said it with a smile on his face. He tried to cover it up. I'm telling you, this is how the Lord works. You ask the Lord for it, and you don't just receive it like it's a gift, like a gift wrapped up. That's not how it works. He puts you through opportunities to actually increase it. I said I want to see those underlining. And what he did, that's why that smile was a very, very key aspect to add into it. He tried to cover it up with a smile. He smiled and laughed it off. "When are you going to start working out?" He changed the question. Exactly. Exactly. He changed the question the second time. He said, "When are you going to start working out?" He laughed it off, and I looked at him, and and guess what I did? I didn't even respond because I discerned the spirit. It was a group of people around too. Another opportunity. It's these small things that I notice and observe, because when I'm in those moments, I like to truly be in those moments. So that's why I can visualize exactly what it was. It was me. I was standing right here. He was to my right. Like he was like to the right. And then it was like two or three other people. And he said it in a tone. It wasn't like a whisper. It wasn't, "Hey, when are you going to start working out?" No, he actually said it in the tone like I'm speaking to you, to where everybody else around could hear it. And guess what my response was? I didn't say nothing. I literally didn't say anything. And guess what happened afterwards? I'm telling you, silence, people will literally, those spirits in people will start to reveal themselves. He said, "When are you going to start working out?" I looked at him in his eye. He couldn't even look at me back. I looked at him, and guess what I did? I just turned back. Same posture. Didn't say anything. Same posture. I just kept silent. And guess what he did? Afterwards, he said, "Yeah, man, I need to start working out." Yeah. He started literally just telling on himself. Because I didn't give him the response. I didn't feed into that spirit. I didn't give him the result that he wanted. Because I've observed this. People that have that spirit itself of envy, jealousy, you feed it by feeding into what they want. You feed, that spirit, it's fed off of your energy. I observe this is how you feed into it. You downplay yourself for their benefit.
That's how you feed into that spirit of jealousy and envy. And I used to do that a lot too, bro. People used to always say like hateful things, like jokeful things like that. And I used to feed into it. And I used to downplay myself for their benefit. And that was me feeding that spirit. And I said, I'm not doing that this time. I literally didn't say anything. And I can tell how that was eating him up. And that's why like I truly pray for people that deal with that type of stuff, man. Because to see how a spirit, how it torments somebody so much like that, that's terrible. That's something that I would not wish on my worst enemy. Because I seen how that spirit was tormenting him. He could not look at me in my eye. He was looking down, and he literally just started out the blue beating himself up. He was, yeah, I need to work out the way that I look, X, Y, and Z. And I could just feel like his posture just changed. Like he went from like, he just drooped. Like he was just down and looking down. Like I could, even in the tone of his voice, that spirit was tormenting him so much. And I didn't say a single thing at all. And that was a opportunity because I asked for, that's the system. Like I said, I asked for discernment, and God blessed me with the opportunity like that to increase my discernment. There's so many opportunities I've observed. I get a lot more opportunities now. That's the most beautiful thing. I asked for it, and God blesses me a lot throughout by giving me opportunities. Recording your thoughts, great idea. I've been journaling as of late, but writing words on the page don't capture the emotion well. Yeah, I'm a speaker. I love that, bro. Like recording my thoughts. Like I have so many. Like I have voice memos, because you can speak a lot faster than you can write. I love doing both, right? I love to do things where I record that, and I love journaling. Like journaling is something I love doing because what journaling does, it makes me slow down. It forces me to slow down my thoughts. Because you can only write but so fast. You can't write as fast as you can speak. You can't write as fast as you can think. So journaling, if I have a specific thought, like for example, building out a certain system, then I will slow down and write it out. Take my time to write it out so I slow myself down. But if I'm in that moment and I want to capture the emotion that I have in that moment, it's so much different for me to have a thought in a moment and to have that emotion and then to come back 6 hours later and try to recreate that emotion. It's not gonna work. I can't recreate that same emotion that I had in that same exact moment. That's why a lot of the times, like I love driving in the car. Like I don't have no music and stuff. I always have those thoughts in the car because I get so many opportunities. I get to like see people in traffic and see how they operate. It's just so many things that just comes in my mind in the car. And it's so funny because that was my place. Like you know how people have those places like where they go to like where you know that sacred space where you just spend time with the Most High. When I first started my journey back in 2021, when I dropped out of college, literally God stripped away everything from me. I had no person that I could really talk to but him. I would always go to the park. Never forget it. It used to be 12 o'clock in the morning. I tell people this all the time, but I used to always go to the park. I used to tell my parents that I was going to the gym. The gym was like close by. I would go to the gym sometimes. Most of the times I wasn't. But I would tell them I was going to the gym at like 12 o'clock in the morning. And I would literally, there was this park back in my hometown. And I would just go sit in that park. And I would either sit in the car or if it was nice outside, I would just go outside, lay on the hood, look into the sky and just talk to God all night. I would just talk to Yah for literally hours. Everything that he was revealing to me, I would just ask certain questions. And in that silence, he revealed to me certain things. I was asking, God, why are you taking away all these people that I thought were so close to me? Why are they coming out like this? These people that I thought were my friends, best friends, why are they betraying me like this? Why are they doing this? Why are you doing this? And he started to give me the answer. And, years later now I see why. Because those same people that he allowed to do that, those people are on a completely different path now. Completely. I'm talking about not just completely different path for me, but the path that we were on in like school and high school and college and stuff together. Those people are not the same people. Drug addicts, completely different. Like now they're all over the place, right? gang members. They are in jail, or a lot of them even died. Well, not a lot, but a few of them died as well because of the type of environments that he was, and he was saving me back then. I didn't know, and that's for me. In those moments of silence, like those are those places where when he reveals to me, majority of those things. But that's just one of the testimonies, and I love that I get, once again, I'm rejoicing through having the opportunity. So I know that there's going to be more opportunities where random people just start interacting with me. And it's going to be those opportunities of discerning of spirits where it's those negative, like that guy, for example. Then it's going to be those positives. I'm going to give you another testimony. I'm going to give you another testimony, right? It was not, what's the day? It wasn't yesterday. It was Sunday. Yeah, I think it was Sunday. It was Sunday or one of the days before Sunday. I don't remember. But I was at the park. I'm going to show you a scenario of two of them. It was two. It was the discerning of spirits for the negative, and it was the positive. I was working out. I came to the park. It was I think it was a Sunday, because there was a lot of children there. It was a lot of children. And I did my normal warm-up. It was hot that day. Started working out. And I'll never forget. That's how I remember this. It was a girl. She was a child. Maybe 9, 10, 11 years old. Maybe. I don't know. She wasn't like 4 or nothing. But as I was doing my warm-ups, doing my thing, I've observed and I noticed and I looked and I saw that she made like a stare at me. Because I would finish my set, look up, and she made a stare at me. Because at first I was on one side of the park, because they had like a fitness area. I was on one side of the park. She was over there. I would finish my warm-ups doing like some handstand combos and some planche and front lever work. And she looked at me, and as soon as I made eye contact, she looked away. And I could just see that spirit. I started seeing the spirit manifest within her. It was so insane. I started seeing that spirit manifest in her. And then I went to go to the other side to start training like my planche and everything. And I was doing the set, did a nice little warm-up set, my camera set up, camera recording, set up, nice warm-up set. Looked up, she gave me that stare again. I said, all right, okay, I see what's going on. And then, I kid you not, right? Let me show you how amazing God is, man. I went to go record my setup again. It was like more of a little bit of a side angle. I was gonna do a set. I went to go do my set. I got a couple good reps in, and I finished the set. I was focused, locked in. I looked up, and I see my phone on the ground, on the tripod on the ground. I'm like, all right, cool. It is what it is. In that moment, I had a beautiful opportunity because my spirit, I was just so calm. Like, I looked at my phone on the ground. I wasn't like, damn, man, I missed out on my whole recordings. Because for one, I didn't care because I stopped recording content for like 2-3 months and was just in training. I recently just started back recording content. So I didn't care about one clip. I could care less about that, right? So I was super calm in that moment. And I'm like, all right, cool. Children running around. Probably just one of the childs hit it. Hey, it is what it is. No big a deal, man. I'll just pick it up and, just redo the set. It is what it is. I got to do another set anyway. And I went to go back and look at the video. Guess who was the one that knocked over the camera? You cannot make this up. You cannot make this up. You cannot make this up. I kid you not. I'm like, okay, cool. Because I knew for a fact, ain't no wind blew over that camera. There was in no reality, no wind was blowing that hard for it to knock down this huge tripod right here. This huge tripod. This tripod it's not huge, but it's not flimsy. This tripod plus my phone. Ain't no wind did that. And I went to go scrub through the video, and I seen that she purposely used her phone. She had like a water bottle, and she purposely used it to knock over the same girl that was giving me that look. She purposely used her phone to knock it over. I know how it was purpose, because it was like It was here. She hit it, and then you know how like a phone, like when it's falling, it does like the tumbling and whatever. And guess the angle that the phone landed on. It didn't land on the front where I only saw the ground. It landed facing up, so I actually saw everything that was going on. And what I saw was when she knocked it over, as it was tumbling, her eyes. I seen the direction that her eyes was. Guess where the direction that it was? Staring directly at me. You wonder how I know? Because my head was down. Because when I'm training planche, I'm not looking up. I'm training down. So I'm looking down directly at the ground. So I didn't know that it was knocked over because I did the set and it got knocked over maybe 10 seconds. And I didn't even realize it until afterwards. When I looked down and I observed that, her eyes made direct eye contact with me. So I was like, yo, that was deliberate. That was not on accident. And guess what happened? The very next set. You cannot make this up. I went to go set up another angle. And guess where she just randomly went to go stand? Right there, kind of close to literally maybe like here, maybe a little bit. It's not going to show it in the camera. But maybe like a little bit of a distance. Maybe a couple of feet away from where I was doing my set. And I went to go look back at the video again. And that eye contact, like, it was just disgust. She just had so much disgust. She seen me doing my set. It was like she looked at the camera and then looked at me with so much disgust and then went away. And then she had her, I think it was like her brother or something. And her brother was not on that type time. He came up to me. He said, yo, are you a YouTuber? Like, he was just so excited. He was like, yo, are you a YouTuber? X, Y, and Z. I said, yeah, I'll do that. He said, oh, what's your name? I'm going to follow you. X, Y, and Z. And that same exact time, I want to say a couple of minutes later, I went to the other side. They left, and I went to the other side to do some front lever. And this guy who had the most amazing spirit came up to me randomly. I was doing just regular. To me it's regular, but to I guess other people it's insane. But I was just doing front levers, and he was literally just staring at me, watching me the whole time. He was like, "Bro, that is so amazing. That is so inspirational. X, Y, and Z. I'm trying to get into this." I even showed him how to do the front lever. He was training it longer than I was, doing a whole bunch of attempts, and he literally was so inspired. He was like, "Yo, like, what's your like? I'm gonna follow you. Like, you're my inspiration. Yo, can I?" Like, he even wanted to take a picture with me and everything. I'm like, "Yo, you just met me 2 seconds ago," but it was still just the impact and seeing that spirit that dwelled within him. And this is what I mean by repeating it so much, because you see both sides of things. Not every single person that you come in contact with is always going to be evil and demonic, and not every single person that you come in contact with is always going to be rainbows and sunshines and like you. Not every person that you come in contact with is going to like you. Just understand that. That's the biggest thing that, like, you know, I've learned, especially when it comes to discerning spirits. Not every person actually likes you. It's not you. It's definitely not you. 110% is not you. It's the spirit that dwells within you. You are a light. When you were asleep, right? This is how those demonic spirits, those spirits that dwell in people, this is what it's like. When we're asleep, right, at nighttime, and we have all our lights out, it's dark. And when our eyes have become accustomed to that darkness, we essentially love the darkness at that point, because not the darkness spiritually wise, but the darkness of the light. Like, most people don't sleep with a light on. But when you sleep, darkness, and then guess what happens? Somebody just randomly comes in and they turn on the light. What do you immediately do? You squint your eyes, like your eyes gotta adjust to it. Like, it's like bright, it's like blinding, right? If you were to just wake up, dark room, and then you just go and open up your curtains. You don't just look into the sun and just eyes wide open. It's just like you squint a little bit. That's what it's like for those spirits that dwell within those people. You are that sun. You are that light. So when they are somebody who's so consumed by darkness and they have that light that comes in and lights up the room, it blinds them. That's why a lot of people can't make eye contact. But it blinds them. And they want to turn off that light as possible. Because, you know, I say, yo, turn off the light. Turn off the light. I'm trying to sleep. Turn off the light. That's what they do. They want to turn off that light. And how do they do that? By certain actions. Like trying to cover up hate. Uncover in a smile. They do deliberate things to try to dim your light. Matthew 5:14 tells us that you are the light of the world. A city that's built on a hill cannot be hidden. It can't be hidden. So that light that dwells within you, no matter what you do, it cannot be hidden at all. There's nothing that you could do about it. You don't have to. You could be covered up, right? You could be covered up. You can not. You have a night. Let's say physique wise. Let's say if you're just thinking about looks, I could go and walk into a grocery store with a long sleeve shirt on. I can not have any of my muscles or nothing showing, and still get hated on, and people just don't like me. It's the spirit that dwells within that person, and the world covers that up, right? There's so many ways. That's why the world doesn't want us to. Not even the world. That's what God allows this to happen. It's like we're living. This is one big matrix, because God is in control of the darkness and the light. And that's why I love the way that the Most High does things. He doesn't just give people the end. That's why he gave us free will. You have a choice. And he gives us so many ways to learn. His way of teaching is so much better than anything else, man. Because he gives us the opportunity to actually learn and seek it out for ourselves. And I've observed that, well, why don't most people think like that? Why don't most people think like this? Because they cover it up. And they like to use their own things to make people believe a certain thing, right? One of the biggest things, spirits, is race, the whole race war. When you are so consumed by thinking that, oh, a person is looking at me because of my skin color, that could be a reason, but they've been so brainwashed to think about that. That's all you think about. Whenever somebody is showing hate towards you, what is the first thing? It's not, yo, what spirit dwells within this person? It's like, oh, it's because I'm black. That's the first response, and that's all you go to. And when you get that immediate, oh, it's because I'm black, they hate on me because of my skin color, you go right past the spiritual warfare and you go to the physical. The word says, and this is true because this is how you see the word plays out, the word says that man looks at the outward appearance, but God tests a man's heart. God looks within. So when we keep on looking at the outward appearance, oh, it's okay, they're hating on me because of my skin color. If I was to think that way, let's use the same exact scenarios that I just did with the guy and then the girl, that spirit, right? If I was just looking at it was they hated on me because of the color of my skin, what would I have gained from that? I would not have grown. How can I grow in discernment and discerning of spirits if I'm just looking at the outward appearance? Oh, he's hating on me because I'm black. Oh, she's hating on me because I'm black. Even though she was the same color as me, but the other one, he wasn't. If I'm just looking at skin color, what do I gain from that? I gain no wisdom. All I do is just gain hate towards a specific skin color, even though it's not even about race. It's about nations. We don't come from, it's not skin color. We come from bloodlines of nations. Because like I say that all the time, the same people that got my same skin color, not all of them are Israelites. Not all of them are Hebrews. It's as simple as that. Like, a lot of people think that's the whole race war, and that's what the world wants us to believe. Yes, and you also attract what you think about as well. I love that. Yeah, that's true. Because if you keep on thinking negativity and you keep on thinking hate, that's what you're going to attract. It's like moths to a light, right? You know how moths, they are attracted to that light? That's how it is. If you guys are all, why do you think so many people like the, let's say golf people, are always surrounded around each other? Why the people that always are in gossip, why are they always around each other? The people, all they care about looks, why are they only surrounded around, like, let's say females or guys, right? Let's say females. Why are the ones that the females, all they care about is looks, right? Why are all the friends that they only surround themselves around are ones that look beautiful? That's all they care about is looks. Why is the people that only care about money, all of their friends, they only surround themselves around people that have a bunch of money? Not because of the spirit that dwells within them, it's just because they have a bunch of money. It doesn't matter if they're evil, so they're so demonic, but just because they have a bunch of money, I want to be friends with you. It's a big difference. And when you observe that, you stop putting yourselves in those scenarios. So you can't be, if you are going to choose to be somebody who wants to keep on dealing with social anxiety, that spirit of anxiety, all these spirits, if you choose to actually continue to keep being in it, when you're surrounded by it so much and you look at it from a way of negativity, God will give you over to a reprobated mind, because the Most High chastises those who He loves. If you are somebody who's dealing with social anxiety and you're always in scenarios where you have to be in public and you always have to like talk or something, and you look at it as a bad thing, when in reality that's just the Most High trying to actually save you. He's trying to actually help you. He's putting you in scenarios where it's like, yo, if you actually just take action, you will overcome this. He will give you the strength to overcome it. But if you start to keep on looking at it from a negative light, what's going to happen is He's going to give you over to that reprobated mind. And you're going to truly think that everybody's out to get you, out to get you. Every single person that you talk to, they're going to hate you or X, Y, and Z, and you're going to become so consumed by it. Look what happened with Saul. Saul got tormented. How was Saul tormented? By spirits. It said that. I think it said that in the scriptures as well. It said that Yah allowed the spirits to torment him. We reap as we sow. Good chat, brother. Yeah, man, just be chopping it up. Let me see. Let me go to this as well. Boom. Yes. That is that. The markets today. Oh, look what gold did, right? I didn't take the trade, but look what happened. I think we talked about here. Gold came down, rejected it, came back down into support. Simple. I'm not gonna trade anymore. I want to wait until FOMC. I want to see what FOMC is gonna do, because there's a lot of news that comes out for all pairs this week. I know not UJ. The JPY, they have some news. Like we got, what do we have? They have balance of trade. I don't know what that is. FOMC, PPI, FOMC at 2 o'clock. That'll be pretty interesting. Then they have their interest rate decision. Their second pound. I think they have like month. So that's why I know the second half of this month it'll be clean structure, especially since both of these are giving their rate decisions. If we're looking at UJ, right? If you what pair am I on GU? If theirs for the pounds, if theirs is more negative and the dollar is more positive, what's going to happen is GU is going to start to go down, continue to keep going down more, because the pound is the first and then the dollar is the second. So if the pound is stronger, then GU is going to go up. If the pound is weaker, then GU will go down. So if the US is relatively stronger with their decisions than the pound is, GU is going to continue to keep trading bearish. If the same, it's the exact opposite. This is UJ. The same exact opposite. If the UJ is strong and the yen is bearish, the dollar is going to continue to keep rising. Gold, same exact scenario. XAD, USD. If people are running towards gold, the US is weaker. Gold is still going to continue to keep going up. Gold is overall bullish, and it's going to continue to keep staying overall bullish. There's a like, I can't even give an analogy off the top. I was going to try to give an analogy off the top. That's one thing I want to get better with as well, too. I want to get better with my analogies, being able to speak a lot more with like a proverb style and more analogies. Because that's how I learned the best. When Jesus was talking in parables in the Bible, I honestly love those parables so much. Because every time I read the parable, I get a deeper understanding of it. Every time I read it. And to understand, like, in the way that he was just speaking about the parables, and when he explained it, I'm like, yo, this is deep. It taught me so much, so that's how I teach others. It makes you think. You have to actually do the thinking on your own and actually dig down a little bit deeper. But overall, that is it for me today. I am going to call it. What is the weather like? Whoa. There's no way. It is 40 degrees outside. You can't. What? It is 40 degrees outside. Dude, it was just 80 degrees 2 days ago. Okay, I'll still go work out. It is what it is. But other than that, that is it for me. Love you all so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow and see how the market plays out and see if we got any topics to talk about. But appreciate you all so much for pulling up. Love you all, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Mm-mm. You ever trade silver futures? Nah, I've never traded silver futures, bro. I only trade gold, the CFD.